All right, so it's been quite a summer at the movies, and we're not done yet. We've actually got a few more weeks of some pretty good movies coming out, and this week we are going to take a look at G-Force, the new movie from Disney that's opening up today. And what we're looking at is the logo. I've actually seen this logo on several of those trailers and some other materials on the website and everything. It's a really cool octagon shape. It's got kind of brushed metal look, and it's got the G in front of it and everything like that. It's really got a nice kind of cool lighting on it and everything like that. That's what we're going to take a look at in this tutorial today. And we're going to employ some 3D capabilities here inside CS4 Extended to enhance that logo a little bit more. So we're going to begin first by creating a texture that we're going to use, the actual brushed metal texture that we're going to use on this. So let's go ahead and create a new blank layer, and I've gone ahead and created my document here just for the sake of time, laid down a base color for the background. It's just a simple light to dark blue gradient right on the background layer there. Go ahead and create a new blank layer above that one. I'm going to press Shift Delete to bring up the fill window here, and we're going to use 50% gray. In normal, 100%, click OK. Next thing is, we're going to go into the filter menu and go to Noise and choose Add Noise. And inside here, we're going to set the amount to 100%, distribution to uniform, and go ahead and check on monochromatic. Click OK. Go into the filter menu once again, and this time go to Blur and choose Motion Blur. And we're going to set the blur angle to 0, so it goes from left to right. The distance we're going to set to around 300. So it really gives me that brushed metal look there. So now you can see it's giving me a little bit more contrast on the edges. No problem there if you don't want that. Simply press Command-T, hold down your Option key, and just grab either one of these side handles and just drag outward. And it puts it out there. Now what I'm going to do is go under the Edit menu and go down here and choose Define Pattern, because I'm going to use this a little bit later. So go ahead and click OK. That pattern is defined. I'm going to go ahead and turn that layer off, and let's go ahead and create a new layer. And we're going to go over here in the toolbar and grab our shape tools, go inside the shape tools and choose the polygon tool. Now this logo contains an octagon shape, so we're going to make sure that our polygon has 8 sides up here in the options bar. Select it right there, enter 8, and we're going to go ahead and into our canvas and drag out the shape. And let's go ahead and make it straight as possible there. I want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and select it, press Command-T, let's just scale it up a little bit higher, and position it right in the middle there. Now, what I want to do is create a duplicate of this path, so I'm going to go into the Edit menu and choose Copy, and then go under Edit once more and simply choose Paste. Now, we did not see anything happen inside the canvas because what happened was it copied the path and then pasted it directly on top of the existing one. So it still looks like we just have one. But if we press Command-T, and I'm going to hold down my Shift Option key, Shift Alt on Windows, and scale this in a little bit, we can see that there is in fact a second path, and we're going to create kind of a border effect here. All right, like that, and I'll press Enter. Now, what I want is this inner path to subtract the area of the outer path. If I go into the Paths panel, you can see that the white area indicates what will be selected if I turn these paths into a selection. So right now it'll turn the entire area as a selection. I don't want it to do that. I just want it to be the outer rim here. So what I need to do with that path selected, go up here in the Options bar and change it to Subtract from Shape. You'll notice how this icon has changed, knocking out that middle area. Now if I drag and select both of these and simply press Command-Enter to load it as a selection, we now see that it only selects that border area. So I'm going to go over here and on that blank layer, simply press Shift-Delete, 50% gray, OK, and there we have our inner shape. Let's go ahead and center it in the middle of our document by pressing Command-A and grab the Move tool and use the Center, Horizontal, and Vertical Alignment tools. And there's our shape in the middle of our document. Now what I'm going to do is add a layer style to this. Let's go ahead and double click on it, and we've got the bevel and emboss we're going to add here. And let's go ahead and change the technique to chisel hard, and I'm going to push the depth all the way up to 1000. Turn off use global light, and let's just position the light in the upper right area here. I think that looks pretty good. Not too bad. Now, let's go ahead and add another effect on this, which is the pattern overlay, and we're going to use that brushed noise, or that blurred noise on there, which is the very last item here inside of the menu here. And you can see it's applied it, and it looks like a kind of a cool brushed metal look. Very cool. All right, so we're going to click OK. Inside of that layer, I'm simply going to press Command J, Control J on Windows, and make a duplicate layer of that. Press Command T, free transform. Hold down Shift Option, Shift Alt on Windows, and simply scale this towards the center, leaving a little bit of space between this shape and the previous one, and we'll press Enter. And we're going to do it once more. I'm going to press Command J. Again, scaling down using free transform. And there we have it. So it's coming together. It's looking a lot like the actual logo. What I'm going to do now is I'm still selected on this smallest ring right here. I'm going to grab my magic wand tool and simply click inside the blank area of this shape, and it selects that inner area. Create a new blank layer, and I'm simply going to press Shift Delete. Use 50% gray again. There we have it. Now I want to apply that same layer style that's on these rings. So I'm going to go over here in the Layers panel, hold down my Option key, hold down Alt on Windows, and then simply click right on that effects icon and drag it to the target layer. And there you can see it applies it. Looks pretty good. Next thing is we're going to need to add the G on here. So let's go and grab our text tool in the toolbar and simply click inside the document to set some text. And we'll just type the letter G. Let's go ahead and scale this up a little bit, use our free transform. Obviously need to change the font. And what I'm actually going to use is a font I use quite often, found it on the DaFont site, and it's called Terminator. Kind of looks like the font from the logo, so we'll go ahead and use that. Just like before, I'm going to go ahead and center it in the middle of this document here. And just like before, I'm going to drag the layer style from this layer to the text layer, just like that. But I'm also going to add something to this text layer. I'm going to double click on that effects icon to open up the layer style. And I'm going to add one more element to this, which is the stroke right here. So let's go inside the stroke area and change the settings here a little bit. I'm going to change the size to 5 to match the size of the beveling. But I'm also going to change the position to inside. And for the fill type here, we're going to choose gradient. And we're going to go inside that gradient, and let's edit this gradient a little bit. I'm actually going to add a couple of more color nodes inside of, or color handles inside of here. And let's just change the color here. If I double click on that, it will give me the color picker, and we'll choose white. So we got a nice variation here. We're going from black to white, click OK. You can see the difference here. If I turn the stroke on and off, you see it defines the edges of that lettering a little bit better. Very cool. Okay. So now we're going to take it into the realm of 3D. Now, I don't necessarily want to reposition it in 3D. I'm putting it in 3D so I can add the lighting to it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go inside the Layers panel and select all of the layers that contain the rings. So all these rings in that inner shape, all those are selected right now. Let's minimize these layers here so you can see. So you've got all those layers selected that contain the rings. I don't have the letter itself selected. We're going to leave that alone for now. So with all those layers selected, go into the 3D menu and choose New 3D Postcard from Layer. And it will go ahead and contain those inside of a 3D layer, as you see right there. And we're going to do the very same thing to this text layer. So let's select the text and go to 3D, New 3D Postcard. Again, does the very same thing. And now what we're going to do is select both of those 3D layers. Again, hold down the Shift key to select both layers. Under the 3D menu once again, and this time choose Merge 3D Layers. So now it will merge these 3D layers together, spacing them apart. And if I go ahead and grab my 3D rotation tool and just give us a little bit of a turn, you can see that it is in 3D and it's spaced out a little bit. Now, as I mentioned, I want to keep it looking like this. The only reason I got it in 3D is for the lighting aspect of it. So let's go and open up our 3D panel, go into the window menu to 3D. And inside here, we're going to go into the light panel, which is the very last icon. And here, we're going to add a spotlight. So let's go into the new icon here and choose New Spotlight. And we'll add it to the document, you'll see. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the wireframe for this light so we can see where it is. And let's use these light manipulation tools to reposition it. So I'm going to use the drag tool. Let's slide it out here a little bit here. And perhaps swing it over a little bit like that. Do it right about there. Looks pretty good. we'll turn off the wireframe for now, and let's go into the main panel, which is the scene icon right here at the very top. And inside this preset menu, let's choose Ray Traced. And what this is going to do is actually turn on the shadows and cast a shadow between these two 3D elements that are on this layer. So just give it a moment. It will go ahead and render that out. So you can see that shadow is a little bit harsh. So if you decide you want to soften that up, you can always go back inside the lighting section. In fact, to make this quicker, let's go back into solid mode because I think I want to reposition that light too. Go back into the light section, and here in the softness area, let's enter 15 for the softness. And let's turn on that light wireframe. And let's just position this up. I'm going to slide the light up here a little bit. And push that direction down, just so it's casting more of a shadow on there. So we've added that softness and repositioned the light. So let's see what we get here. We'll go back to Ray Traced. So you can see it softened up that edge of that shadowing a little bit. Not too bad. So let's just do one last thing to finalize this up. I'm going to enhance that background a little bit. I just don't want it to be a solid color. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer above that background layer. Make sure that your default colors are set to black and white over here. Simply press the D key on your keyboard. And I'm going to go into the filter menu and go to Render and choose Clouds. Then we're going to go under the filter menu again, and this time choose Render Difference Clouds. I'm going to press that several times, just kind of so it builds on that effect, giving me kind of an interesting texture there. And then simply change it from normal, the layer itself, change the blend mode from normal to multiply. So it gives a little bit of a texture back here, kind of giving you an interesting result. But there you have it, employing 3D along with the 2D elements to get a cool 3D lighting effect on the GeForce logo.